Hey guys, Aniso here, and today we want to take a look at Underlord. Underlord is probably one of the best offlane heroes that you can learn, especially if you're new to the offlane. This hero is really easy to play. He offers a lot of team fighting spells, a lot of wave push, a lot of tower defense. He's just a great overall hero that just has a really nice kit to offer a lot for you and your teammates. Also, this hero is one of the highest, if not the highest win rate heroes in almost all brackets. In Herald, Guardian, Crusader and Archon, this hero is top 1 out of all heroes according to win rate, and then in the Legend bracket he's also in the top 5 heroes. So what makes Underlord so strong and also easy to play? First of all, the base stats of this hero are really high. He starts off with 700 HP. Usually most heroes start around like 500 to maybe 600. This hero starts with 700. And also he has 5 armor, which is also higher than most other heroes. So this big HP pool combined with the armor make it really easy to survive in lane. Also, Underlord has a base attack of 62 to 68. So this makes it pretty easy to secure last hits. And also he has free strength gain per level. So he also gets a lot of HP every level that he levels up. This just makes him overall a really tanky hero. Also just his overall kit is just made to survive. The Pit of Malice is an AoE root. Then you have a damage reduction aura that is really nice in teamfights. You even have this get me out of freaking every situation card with the ultimate. You can just TP your whole team out of every freaking dumb situation into your base. This hero is just really versatile, he's easy to play, so definitely try to play Underlord if you want to learn any new hero in the offlane. So Underlord's skill build is pretty straightforward. We want to max out Firestorm and Pit of Malice first. But we also want to take 1 point in Atrophy Aura on level 2 as a value point. The Atrophy Aura will give us bonus damage if creeps die in the range of our aura, so this makes the laning stage a little bit more easy, just because we get more damage. Especially if we get a hero kill, we gain 30 damage. With 1 point in the aura, really strong. For the ultimate, usually you can skip the ultimate up until like level 8 if you want to, but for me I just get it level 6 most of the time. Like, it kinda depends on the game. If you think you will just stay in your lane and you don't need the ultimate at all, if the game is just pretty slow and no one is doing a lot of rotations, then you can skip the ultimate. But if you think you'd need more mobility around the map, like more global presence, then just get the ultimate at level 6. Besides that, you just take ulti level 12 and 18, and then after you maxed out Firestorm, you max out Pit of Malice, and then Atrophy Aura last. For Underlord's talents, you have the choice on every row. You can pick up every talent of Underlord, and all of them are pretty good. Usually it's one defensive talent and then one more offensive talent. For example, the offensive talents are like Firestorm Radius, Firestorm Cooldown, Firestorm Burn Damage, and then Atrophy Allied Hero bonus damage. The utility or defensive ones are the Armor, Pit of Malice AoE, Atrophy Aura attack damage reduction, and Pit of Malice root. In most games I would recommend going for this talent setup, but as I said before, like, all of them are viable, all of them are good, so if you feel like you need any other talent, then feel free to take them. All of them are really good. For the items on Underlord, the starting items are just pretty normal offlaning items. We go Healing Salve, Tango, Quelling Blade, and then we can buy 1 mango to spam more Firestorms. If you want, you can even buy 2 mangoes instead of the Emerald branch to have even more Firestorms, and then we buy Gauntlets of Strength because we will use the Gauntlets for the Soul Ring. The early game items we want to buy is the Soul Ring, and then the Ring of Regen that will later build into the Hood of Defiance, and then Face Boots. This is what you usually want to buy, but you can make some choices. If you plan on building Guardian Greaves, then you should not buy Phase Boots, but instead buy Arcane Boots, obviously. You can't build Greaves out of Phase Boots, but I would advise build Phase Boots in most games unless you really need Greaves later. The Phase Boots will just make you a way stronger hero in lane compared to the Mana Boots. If you just have Soul Ring Mana Boots, you as a hero are pretty weak, and you can just stand behind and spam your Firestorm and that's it. So most of the time the Phase Boots will just allow you to play way more aggressive. You have more damage, you have more armor. Usually the weakness of Underlord is magic damage. Especially if we buy Phase Boots, we already have armor from the Phase Boots, and then if we need armor, we can also take the level 10 armor talent. But we don't have anything against physical damage, against magic damage. We even have the aura against physical, but against magical we have no reduction whatsoever. So usually if the enemies have some form of magic damage, the hood is pretty good. Also, with Underlord's tankiness, the HP regen the hood offers is just really nice. So it's a really good laning item. Also, it makes up for the damage that we get with the Soul Ring. Afterwards, we have the choice. Do we need team items or do we need more selfish items? This depends on the draft that you're playing with. For example, if your team has no survivability, meaning like your support duo is a Shadow Shaman and Lion, no one of them has any form of heal. Usually those heroes play pretty greedy and they buy Ether Lances and daggers and whatever, right? You should definitely build aura items, team items. For example, Pipe of Insight, Guardian Greaves, Crimson Guard, Lotus Orb, Vladimir's, whatever. Just some of the team items here. But if your teammates are heroes that have a lot of save, such as Dazzle for example, right? You don't need as much team items if you're playing with a Dazzle. Then maybe buying a selfish item such as Rod of Athos is better. Especially if your team lacks aggressive potential. Like Rod of Athos is a really nice item on Underlord because you can stack this with the Pit of Malice. If you Pit of Malice someone, he will get rooted for 1.8 seconds. Then you can use the Athos, he will get rooted for 2 seconds, and then after those 2 seconds the Pit of Malice will trigger again. So with Athos and Malice you can root people up to, I think it's around 5.6 seconds. So you can basically make them stay in your whole Firestorm. But if your team needs team items, build team items. If your team does not need team items, just go for Rod of Athos. And then, depending on the situation, if you need to disarm the carry, for example, Hellbot is pretty good. If you need healing reduction, Shivas can be pretty good. With this patch, Underlord got a new Aghanim Scepter. So I think the Aghanim Scepter is great on this hero. I checked out a lot of pro games and almost all good Underlord players were building Aghanims at some point. Some of them were even buying this like after they built one other item, for example like put into Athos Aghanims. You can even go this greedy. I would advise skipping this up until you have like 1 or 2 more items. But the Aghanims itself is really great. You can make such great plays with this item. You can just gank people so easy. You just place your portal behind enemies, you port behind them, and then you can root them with your Pit of Malice while your teammates are also just getting through the portal, and you can just 5-man gank someone so easy. For the Aghanim's Shard, this will increase your wave count on the Firestorm. This is just in general really good, and also you can use your Firestorm onto yourself and it will follow you around. Like if you don't need any other item right now, this item is great, but usually you don't want to buy it like at 20 minutes. As I already said, the aura only reduces bonus damage, right? So here I took the talent for the armor bonus reduction. It reduces the damage by 47, so this is nearly half the damage. If we take a look at this axe, he has only reavers, so all his damage is base damage. If he runs into the aura, he will lose 47% of his damage. right? So this is just half his damage. But if we take a look at this guy, who has only plus damage, right? This is not base damage, like the first number is base damage and the second number in green is the additional bonus damage. And the aura does not affect this number, only this. So if this axe with Divine Rapiers will run into the aura, he will still have all the bonus damage from the Divines, but he will only lose half of this base damage value. So basically he will lose around 80 damage. So as you can see, he still has 900 bonus damage. This is pretty important to know. As I said before, against heroes that build a lot of stat-based damage, your aura is great. Against heroes that build a lot of plus damage, your aura kinda sucks. Also, in team fights, it is pretty important on how we use the Pit of Malice. For example, you don't want to use, like if someone is here, and he's running around this way, you don't just want to use your Pit of Malice like this, just to root him, for example. But you want to try to use your pit in like the direction he's running and also in narrow paths. So, like this for example. If this guy is running this way, you want to use the Pit of Malice like over here. So he has no way of escaping, like he can't run this way, he can't run here. But in big areas like this, your pit is kinda easy to evade. Like you will still root them once, but usually you won't root them twice. So try to keep your pit in narrow areas such as this, or like here for example. Also, if you use your pit, you can just use Firestorm right on top, a little bit into the direction that they will run. As you can see, they will get rooted, they get hit by all the waves, and if they run through the pit, they get rooted again, and they just take your whole Firestorm. For the Aghanim Scepter, the range of this is incredible. Man, I was so surprised to see what the range actually is. If we stand over here, we can use this spell even up to here. Like check this out. This is the max range, I think, or around the max range. You can just place the portal here. You click onto this portal and then you just get TP'd to this location. You can even use this in fog. So I don't have vision here and I can still place this portal. You don't need any vision. It's just incredible. And you can, for example, just TP with the portal behind the enemies if you're trying to break high ground. So if they're trying to defend the high ground, you just TP between them and the fountain, for example. Or if there's an enemy like running around, he's over here, and you want to chase him, you can just place the portal here, you TP to the portal, and then you can root him for a team. So the Aghanims is actually way better than I thought at first. Especially after seeing some games, this is really good to catch people. Also, if there are a lot of people chasing you, you can just use this to escape, right? You place the portal and then you just portal out. So for this game, we want to take a look at OG Sap's Underlord perspective. Right now, he's just getting zoned. This is the first wave. They're zoning him a little bit. Sven is running through the last hits, and now his POS 4 Monkey King is entering the lane. Pretty strange lineup. I don't know why someone would pick POS 4 Monkey King, but doesn't matter right now. So, what is important? Usually, once the waves meet, you wanna insta-firestorm the wave, right? Like, he was zoned out a little bit, that's why he was waiting. But basically, once he came up to the wave, he used Firestorm. This is really important. You always want to do this in the first wave. This will just make sure that enemies don't go for last hits. They can't really harass you, and also it pushes the lane, right? This makes it that you gain level 2 before the enemies most of the time. You can see here is trying to last hit, like harassing a little bit, but it's not really important. Now he's dragging the creeps behind. And then he's just last hitting, denying. That's basically all you want to do with Underlord. Like the laning phase is so easy. Every time the creeps meet, you just want to firestorm them. And you want to last hit and deny. You don't want to go for greedy kills. As you can see here, creeps meet. He's just using firestorm and tries to place the firestorm to hit both enemies. And then basically you just try to sustain, you try to last hit, you try to deny. Not much more to it with Underlord, honestly. Like the laning phase of this hero is the same every game. You just push out with Firestorm, you last creeps, you deny creeps. That's it. This secures pulls for your boss 4 if he wants to, if you push out the lane. And also makes it harder for enemies to trade into you if you just Firestorm the wave. Another really important thing, you will see it pretty soon. I think probably right now. Yeah, here. This is really important. If you use the Firestorm on all of the creeps while this range creep is in tower range, this makes it that the range creep is deniable after the Firestorm. With level 1 and 2 Firestorms, the range creeps will get low HP and they are deniable, but that's pretty bad for you if they stand in tower, right? So if the range creep is in tower range and you feel like you can't last it, the range creep, just use the Firestorm onto the melee creeps and onto the enemy heroes, but not on the range creeps. Pretty important. First item he bought, Soaring. And basically, he's just repeating the same thing all over again. But he's a little bit scared of their lane, but basically all he's doing is just caring about the creeps. He waited for level 3 Firestorm, the wave comes, he Firestorms the wave. And he's basically farming, so I don't think there's much more to look at here. This is basically all you want to do the first like 10 minutes of the game. So one thing you can do with Underlord, you can farm neutral camps pretty easy with your Firestorm. As you can see, he is using Soaring to farm the camp. And then to maximize the farm, we can grab the wave over here and pull this into the neutral camps. As you can see here, he will do it pretty soon after killing this one creep. He will run to the lane. By the way, if you don't know when the lane is here, you can always just take a look on the minimap for your own creep wave, right? If you're playing Dire, take a look at your safe lane and then check the position of your own creeps. This makes it way more easy to determine where the enemy creeps are. So if your creeps are here, the enemy creeps will also be here. Like they're right in front of the tower. So he grabs the creeps. He pulls them into the neutral camps, and then he Firestorms the neutral camp and the small camp. If enemies are not contesting you, this is just way better to get more farm than just farming onto the lane with Firestorm and then farming the camp with Firestorm also. This way you just use less mana because you can Firestorm the wave and the neutral camp together. If you want to, you could rotate this all the time. Like one wave you pull this into the small camp and the next wave you pull into the hard camp, and then you just Firestorm all of them together. Now we take a look at Saberlight's Underlord. He's Platinum tier, and by the time of making this video he is rank 53 on the leaderboard. For himself, he's playing against a Slark Abaddon lane, which is really hard to trade in. Slark is one of the better carries against Underlord. It is still possible to win the lane, but usually Slark has the upper hand. So right here, as you can see, he's kind of close to level 6. I'll fast forward a little bit. He gains level 6. They kind of dive him under the tower. He gets out and then he just basically uses the ultimate to refill his resources. Like he just ultis into the base. He waits for his resources to be full again, his mana and his HP, and then he just TPs back to the lane again. So this is kind of like a refill only thing in the early game. You can also use this to defend other lanes, but usually once you hit level 6 or 7 and you're alone resources, you just want to TP yourself back into the base and then TP either to your own lane or to another lane again if you need to defend another lane. So now for the next use of his ultimate. It is siege wave timing, at 10:30 to 11 minutes. The siege waves arrive at the lane, right? They spawn at 10 minutes and then like half a minute later the waves meet. He's pressuring the tower with the siege wave to force rotations, right? If no one TPs here, he just hits the tower for free. But then he sees Abaddon TP, all of the other guys are missing, and he sees that Tusk and Pangolier are about to respawn, so he just uses all of his resources and then he TPs back base with ultimate. After he is full again, he will think to himself, where do I want to play on the map? Usually after like 10 minutes you don't want to play in the offlane anymore, because this is the place where your carry wants to farm. And then he can take the rest of the tower and then farm all of those camps and the ancients. So usually as an offlaner, especially on Underlord, you want to either defend your mid tower after 10 minutes, right? You stay mid and spam out those waves, or you stay in your safe lane and you farm out waves. As you can see here, he will TP top pretty soon, just because he thinks he can probably stay best against Pangor and Veno, right? This is Pangor Veno lane. With Hood, he's kinda tanky, he can defend the tower. And also mid lane are already 2 people, so we don't need to deal with any aggression over here. So this time we want to take a look at the team fight and also a tower push. Saberlight used his ultimate to get to his teammates, right? They want to set up the tower push. And take a look at how he tries to place the Pit of Malice. Like he fake cast the pit because he just saw Pango ran away. But he was not placing the pit right on top of him, but rather in like the middle here, right? Also, you will see pretty soon, the next pit that he will actually cast is also right in the middle of the lane. So right here, he sees 2 people and he is placing the pit right in the middle of the lane. As I already explained in the demo lobby, you want to try to place your pit into narrow places where people have less options to dodge the pit. So if the enemy team wants to chase their team, they have to run through the pit or run all the way around the freaking pit. So this is how you want to place your pit. The Firestorm's on top, right? Then right now he is half HP, he has no spells, so he's like just kiting in and out of the fight. He wants to apply his Atrophy Aura, but he doesn't want to die. His spells are up again. He tries to hit at least 2 people here. Again, kind of narrow spot where he can hit a lot of people. Firestorm and Pit of Malice together into the team fight, and then basically just kiting in and out of the fight again. Like you want to be close to the fight to like apply your Atrophy Aura, the damage reduction, and also getting the bonus damage when someone dies. And you want to use your spells in the middle of the team fight into narrow spots, but you don't just want to run in like a madman, right? It's not like you want to run in and take all the spells and then just die. It's more like you go in, you take some spells, you use your own spells, and then you kite out. And then once your spells are ready again, you just go in again, use your spells, and then kite out. So first of all, every time you want to rotate somewhere or gank someone or push the tower or whatever, if you are in the lane, Firestorm auto creeps. This is really important. Just push out the wave, right? Like he is just planting the Firestorm here, and then he goes somewhere else to make a play with his team. So now, he's just casting his portal from here. By the way, the range is insane, man. Like this range is so crazy. He puts the portal here. Like this portal placement is really smart. This will even destroy trees, so they can scout TPs, and now he's just using the portal from here behind Venomancer. For some reason Venomancer is not really realizing it, probably because this Aghanim's is kinda new and you're just not used to it. Right, he ports behind Venomancer, he sets up with Pit of Malice, they get the kill on Veno, even Pudge used the portal, and now they get this tower for free. And this is basically how you wanna use the Aghanims. Like just use the Aghanims to set up behind enemy kill targets that are alone. Yeah, now they can just siege the tower. As you can see, the damage bonus you gain from Atrophy Aura is also incredibly strong. It is like they just killed 2 or 3 heroes and he has 140 bonus damage. For the last clip, I want to show you how to take Rags with Underlord. Basically, you want to use your ultimate right before you take the Rags. In this game, to be honest, it doesn't really matter. The game is kind of over. They're way stronger. But if the games are much closer than this can be the game-changing move, right? If you're close to taking the Rex, so around now, you can just use ultimate as he does. You can either use it into the fountain here, or you just use it on any creep wave. Probably, if the game is closer, you just want to use it onto the fountain to save up teammates that are low. And then you will just TP out once you took the Rex, right? So here, they take the Rex. Phantom Ledger is kind of fucked up here, but in general the play is just... You can save your teammates so many times with this spell. So really hope you guys enjoyed the video and you learned something. Also, please write down in the comments below if you guys have any suggestions, any opinions about my guides, if you think there's anything I can do to improve the quality of the content for you guys, if there's anything that you think I'm missing, if you think there's anything you want to see for future videos, please feel free to tell me. I want to make the content as best as I can for you guys, so your opinion matters. Also, as always, the link to the in-game guide is in the description down below. You can click on the link and then just click on the sub button on the Steam page, and then you can find the guide in the in-game guide section of your Dota after you restarted the game. Thank you guys for watching, have a nice day, see you!